What's up guys, my name's Alec and today we will be installing ambient footwell LED lights on the B5.5 Passat. I bought these LEDs on AliExpress. They're the 72 LED version, meaning there's 18 LEDs per strip and there's 4 strips, one for each footwell. They're controlled from your phone. I'll put a link to them down in the description. They are powered on by the cigarette lighter, but what we'll be doing today is cutting this wire and hardwiring it so that they turn on when you turn your headlights on. To do this job, you don't need many tools, so apart from the LED strips, of course, you need a wire stripper, some electrical tape, a heat shrink, a trim removal tool, and a lighter for the heat shrink. What I will be doing first is removing this EL strip that I have, which is supposed to provide ambient lighting, but I tucked it in for it to be clean, and it actually doesn't provide any light anymore because it's too tucked in. So I'm gonna remove it because these LED strips will look way better. Well, as you can see, I did a bit of a mess here. I can't seem to get it out of here. I don't know how it sucks. So I got it out of all the way where it was tucked in. But honestly, I'm not even bothered to try and take it out the nice way. I think we're just gonna go ahead and cut it. Hopefully I can pull it out like this. I know, okay, well I did it. I know this isn't the nicest way, but this has been in here for like almost 2 years, and I knew I was going to throw it away anyways because it's used from all the heat and stuff, so might as well just make my life easier now if I can. Anyway, this cable comes over here. Let's see if I can try and take this out with one hand. As you guys saw before, I had a difficult time taking the one on the right side, but yeah, this one was easier. Anyway, I have this cable connected all the way in the back here to the back of the headlight block. And this is where we are going to connect the footwell LED lights to, so that when you turn it on, the LEDs turn on too. Now, this is the way I choose to wire it because I want them to be on when my lights are on. You guys can wire it however you guys want it to. You can wire it directly to the fuse box if you want to, or you can plug it in the cigarette lighter and just use it in the cigarette lighter, or you can plug it in, wire it to an on and off switch. So it's up to you how to put it. I'm going to be showing you guys today how to hardwire it to the light block. Now, to access the back of the headlight switch, we need to remove it, and it's pretty simple. Once it's on the off position, you push it in, turn it to the middle position, and then you pull it out, and then, well, you close it again so it doesn't beep. And there you go. You have access to the back of it. Now, we're going to unplug the plug from the headlight switch, and I'll show you what the cables are and how I am going to connect my LEDs. Now, this is the plug that goes into the headlight switch. As you can see, I already have some wires cut out here. Now, I have them cut out because, as you saw before, I had another installation, but I am still going to be using these wires for our current installation. Now, before you guys start cutting into your wiring harness, let me explain to you what these two wires are so that you know what you're cutting into. So for me to explain better, I'm actually going to cut up this wire so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the connection that our LED strips come with, and as I told you, I will be cutting down the wire so that we can hardwire it. As you can see, we have two wires once we cut off and strip the plastic housing. The red one is for the positive, for the 12 volts, and the black one is for the ground. Now, coming back to our headlight switch, the brown is the ground, and this green and black cable is for the left headlights according to the wiring diagram of it. If I can find it online, I'm going to put a picture of it right now. Basically, what do the left headlight means? Well, it means what it says. It's a left headlight. So once you turn on your headlights, right and left headlights are turned on, so the green and black cable gets power. But the green and black cable will also get power if, when the car is turned off, you leave. As you see, it beeps because headlights are on. It also turns on if you leave your left blinker on. Because if you didn't know it, these European cars have a feature where if you leave the blinker on when the car is turned off, the headlights on that part of the car will be turned on. For example, as you can see, my car is turned off. If I put the left blinker on, as you can see, with my left blinker on, my left headlight is on, whereas my right one isn't. And the same goes for the taillights too. I personally don't use this feature. I think I've only used it twice in my life, and only for 1 to 2 minutes. Now, if you're a person who uses this feature a lot, I don't recommend wiring your LEDs to this cable, because when you use it, your LEDs will also be on, and it's going to drain your battery even more. But if you never use it, or extremely rarely use it like I do, then wiring it to these cables shouldn't be a problem. The first thing we'll do is connect these wires to the headlight switch wiring harness and see if the LEDs actually work before we start installing them in the car. First step is to strip them and then connect them. So, as we said, brown is ground. So we will be connecting the black to the brown and then the red to the green and black. After some fidgeting around, I connected the wires. I had to cut up some extra wire that I have, this blue one, and help me out because I couldn't connect the cables and connect the harness back together because it was just too short. So for the red one that I connected to the green and blue, I connected it to the green and blue coming out of the plug, connected it then also with the blue cable, and then the blue cable goes up and connects back to the green. Doesn't really focus that well. It connects back to the green and the black up here, as you can see. And I did the same for the ground, for the negative. So I connected the black wire with the brown wire over here together with a blue wire, and then that same blue wire goes up and connects with the other part of the brown wire here. So the purpose of the blue wire is just to create an extension so that I can reconnect the wiring harness back together. It looks messy now. We will test, see if the LEDs work, and if they do, which they should and I hope they will, we will then cover it back up with some electrical tape so that it all looks nice and neat. So the first step is to put the plug back in. I'm using my leg here because I'm filming with the other hand. And also connect the headlight switch back on so that we give it power. Moment of truth. Turn the headlights on. And they work. Okay, that's great. I would have actually been pretty bummed if they didn't. Now it's time to wire them through the car, put them in the footwell. Now, before we actually put them through the car, I want to first put electrical tape here so that everything sits nice and clean. But before I do that, I actually wanted to show you what I mean by the left blinker stuff that I said earlier. So, as I said, green and black cable where we are connected right now gives power when the left headlight is on. And as I told you, the left headlight can be on when the car is turned off and you set your blinker to the left position. See? Look, if I turn it to the right position, my right headlights are now on, but they don't get any power, whereas when I put the left blinker on, they get power. Now once everything is covered back with electrical tape, I am not using heat shrink this time, but you guys can use it. Take the cable that goes into the LED light box, you push it, and then, well, you need two hands to do this, but basically just pull it from the back. Okay, like this. You pull it, and then you put back the headlight switch. Today is another day. I installed the LEDs last night, but it was getting too dark for you guys to see anything. But I will show you right now what I did so you guys can do it too. First of all, I want to mention that I have only installed LEDs in the front footwells. I did not install LEDs in the back footwell because no one really sits in the back in this car, and really didn't necessarily want them in the back. But I will also explain to you how to pull the cables if you also want them in the back. Now, I want to mention, before you stick anything to any surface, clean down the surface with some rubbing alcohol or a wet cloth and dry it down, so that you then stick the LED strips or the module to a clean surface so that it lasts and it doesn't unstick a couple days later. Now for the driver's side LED strip, it is pretty straightforward. I just stuck it on in front of the pedals, and then with the extra wire, I tucked it in behind a plastic cover over there. I haven't done the rear footwells, but it's pretty straightforward. So for behind the driver's seat, you need to do as following. You take the LED strip cable and you tuck it in behind this plastic cover first, and then you feed it in underneath this plastic cover like this. So you feed it underneath like this, like we did for the subwoofer cable, if you guys remember. All the way, you keep on feeding it under the plastic trim all the way to the back. Once you arrive with it at the back here, as you can see, I have a cable, but this is for my subwoofer remote. But it's the same idea. You pull it out of here, and then you can stick it underneath the front seat. So if you put your hand underneath, there's going to be a plastic cover here, and you can just stick it onto here. But first, don't forget to clean it. Now, to bring the cable to the passenger footwell for the front side and the rear side, I'm going to show you a video that I did yesterday night where I show you how you can pull the cables from the module underneath the center console. There is a small gap under here, which if you push the LED strip, it will come out right here. Now, I'm most probably going to need 2 hands to do this, but just to show you guys real quick, take the LED strip and you just feed it down under there. Now, once you start feeding it down under there, whilst feeding it with one hand, you come with the other hand. Basically, you just hug the center console of the car, and with the other hand, you try to, put your fingers in and try to get it out through here. Now, there's no way I can show you guys how I do that. It's just fidgeting around and finding the right spot. It didn't take much at all. I think it took me less than a minute or a minute max. It's just a matter of fidgeting around, spinning it, turning it, and it will eventually come out. Now, I can show you exactly where it goes in. It goes in like this here, and it comes out over here. So the cable that goes to the back of the passenger side, as you can see, if you pull this, you have space to tuck it in and hide it and bring it all the way to the back, and then you take it out like we did for the other side and then stick it underneath the seat too. Now, if you followed all the steps, you'll end up with 2 cables here that go to the passenger side. What I did was zip tie them and hide them behind the carpet. As you can see, they come out a bit there. I'm gonna tuck them in a bit better, but basically you tuck them in behind the carpet over here so that they're not in front of the pedals. And then you also put them behind the acceleration pedal like I did here, and that's it. As you can see, even when I'm pressing the acceleration pedal, it doesn't really touch them. It does a bit right now. I'm going to tuck them a bit more, but you get the idea. So guys, after some playing around, I found another solution. So I still put them behind the carpet so that, they're out of the way of the clutch pedal and the brake pedal and the accelerator pedal. And then I put them above this pedal, above the acceleration pedal, so that they're not in the way when you accelerate. And yeah, they shouldn't move around like this. So guys, this is the end result. As you can see, they look great. Now, I've been driving around with them for like 2 weeks and everything has worked fine. I do not drive with this brightness on. This is way too bright. This is on full brightness, and I only did it like this so you guys can see it in the video. But they look awesome. I'm going to set it down now to the brightness I usually drive with so you guys can see how it looks. Even though the camera doesn't pick it up that good, I'm very satisfied with it, and I hope you guys have fun installing them and have fun using them, of course. This is how I drive with it. This is on brightness 1 from 100. So this is the lowest possible brightness. As you can see, you can barely see it now. I mean, you can see that my shoes are lit up, but in the passenger footwell, you can't see anything yet because it's still too bright outside. As you can see, they are on, but you can't see them because they're still light outside. But during the nighttime, it actually, shows a bit of color, and it looks pretty OEM to me, if you ask me, except the fact that now I have it set on blue for it to match the gauges and the interior light. But if you set it to white, it looks like an OEM car, or you can set it to any other color you want. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section down below, and I'll try to answer all of them. I'm Alec, and I'll see you next time. Peace.